Hello dear listener, please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy watching. I always thought that trust was the bedrock of a good marriage. But that illusion shattered one fateful evening when I, George, discovered that my wife, Amanda, had cheated on me not once, but twice. Worse yet, she was planning to do it again. That discovery devastated me, leaving a gaping wound where love and respect had once resided. It started with a seemingly innocuous message on her phone. A flirtatious exchange with someone named Charlie. My heart sank as I read the suggestive texts, realizing that this was more than just a friendly conversation. Amanda had been unfaithful, and I was staring at the evidence. When I confronted her, the argument escalated quickly. The raw emotions and accusations flew like daggers. "You're planning to sleep with him, aren't you?" I shouted, my voice shaking with rage and heartbreak. Amanda's eyes blazed with a mix of guilt and defiance. "Maybe I should have married Charlie instead," she spat back sarcastically, twisting the knife even deeper. Her words stung, but they also ignited a fire within me. I had to know the truth. I had to see for myself how deep her betrayal went. Over the next few days, I kept a close eye on Amanda. She seemed oblivious to my suspicions, continuing with her usual routine as if nothing had happened. But I knew better. One evening, she dressed up more than usual and told me she was going out with some friends. My instincts screamed that she was lying. I decided to follow her. Keeping a safe distance, I tailed her car as she drove across town, finally stopping at a bar. I parked a few blocks away and walked the rest of the distance, blending into the shadows as I entered the dimly lit establishment. There she was, sitting at a table with Charlie. They were laughing and talking intimately, their body language screaming of a familiarity that made my stomach churn. I found a spot near enough to overhear their conversation without being noticed. "Can't believe we've kept this up for so long," Amanda said, her voice low but filled with a twisted excitement. Charlie grinned. "Tonight's going to be special. I booked us a room at the hotel down the street." My worst fears were confirmed. They had done this before, and they were planning to do it again. The anger inside me boiled over, but I knew I had to wait for the right moment. I followed them to the hotel, my heart pounding in my chest. I felt like a character in a noir detective story, shadowing the villains to their lair. I watched as they checked in, waited a few agonizing minutes, and then headed to the room they were given. Once inside, I waited just outside the door, listening to their muffled voices. I needed to catch them in the act, to confront them with irrefutable proof of their betrayal. When I heard enough, I burst through the door. The look of shock on their faces was almost satisfying. Amanda's eyes widened in horror, while Charlie's smug expression quickly morphed into fear. "What the hell are you doing here?" Amanda shrieked. "I could ask you the same thing," I replied coldly, my voice trembling with barely contained fury. Before Charlie could react, I lunged at him, years of pent-up anger and betrayal fueling my actions. We grappled, exchanging blows, until I finally stood over him, breathing heavily. "This ends now," I said, turning to Amanda. "Our marriage, everything." I went home that night, leaving Amanda and Charlie in their sordid little rendezvous. I didn't want to hear her excuses or apologies. My mind was made up. I gathered all the property and gifts Amanda had given me over the years and decided to rid myself of every reminder of her. I took everything to a secluded spot and set it all on fire. Watching the flames consume the physical remnants of our relationship felt cathartic, as if I were burning away the pain and betrayal. Amanda tried to contact me repeatedly, leaving voicemails and sending messages, but I refused to respond. I couldn't bear to hear her voice, to give her a chance to worm her way back into my life. The divorce was swift and final, and I severed all ties with her. Charlie didn't escape unscathed either. His wife found out about the affair and kicked him out. He faced his own set of repercussions, and I couldn't help but feel a grim satisfaction knowing that he, too, was paying for his sins. One evening, while attending a charity event organized by a colleague, I met someone new. Her name was Lisa, and she had an aura of warmth and sincerity that drew me in instantly. We struck up a conversation, and I found myself laughing and opening up in a way I hadn't done in a long time. Lisa was a writer, and we bonded over our shared love for literature and storytelling. As we spent more time together, I realized that not everyone was like Amanda. Trust and love were still possible, even after the deepest of betrayals. Just when I thought I had left my past behind, a twist of fate brought Amanda back into my life. I received a call from her late one night. At first, I considered ignoring it, but something compelled me to answer. "George, the first need your help," she said, her voice trembling with desperation. Despite my better judgment, I listened as she explained her situation. Charlie had become obsessed with her, unable to accept that their fling had ended. He had started stalking her, showing up at her workplace and sending threatening messages. Amanda feared for her safety and didn't know where else to turn. Reluctantly, I agreed to meet her the next day at a cafe. Seeing her again stirred a mix of emotions: anger, pity, and a residual sadness for what we had lost. Amanda looked frail and scared, a shadow of the confident woman I once knew. "I'm sorry for everything, George," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I know I don't deserve your help, but I don't know what else to do." Despite my reservations, I couldn't ignore her plea. No one deserved to live in fear, not even someone who had hurt me so deeply. I promised to talk to Charlie, hoping to put an end to his harassment. I tracked Charlie down to a bar he frequented and confronted him. He was drunk and belligerent, his obsession with Amanda evident in his slurred words and erratic behavior. "Leave her alone, Charlie," I said firmly, trying to keep my temper in check. "It's over. You need to move on." Charlie sneered, his eyes narrowing with a dangerous glint. "You think you can just walk in here and tell me what to do?" Amanda's mine. The situation quickly escalated, and it became clear that reasoning with him was futile. I left, deciding to involve the authorities instead. I filed a restraining order on Amanda's behalf, providing evidence of his harassment. It wasn't an easy process, but eventually, the law intervened, and Charlie was forced to stay away. Helping Amanda gave me a sense of closure I didn't know I needed. While I could never forget what she had done, I realized that holding on to anger and resentment would only continue to poison my life. Forgiveness, in a way, was more about freeing myself than absolving her. Amanda thanked me profusely, expressing a desire to make amends and rebuild some form of friendship. While I appreciated her sentiment, I knew that our paths needed to remain separate for my own healing. My relationship with Lisa blossomed into something beautiful. She was patient and understanding, allowing me to heal at my own pace. With her, I found the trust and love that I had once thought were lost forever. We traveled together, shared countless conversations under the stars, and built a bond that was rooted in mutual respect and genuine affection. Lisa taught me that it was possible to love again, and more importantly, that I deserved to be loved. Life, I learned, is about resilience and the courage to move forward despite the scars we carry. My journey through betrayal, heartbreak, and eventual healing had reshaped me, making me stronger and more appreciative of the simple, honest joys in life. As I stood on the balcony of my new home, looking out at the sunset, I felt a sense of peace. The past was behind me, and the future was full of promise. With Lisa by my side, I was ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing that I had the strength to face it all. In the end, the bitter truth had led me to a sweeter reality, one where trust and love could flourish anew. And for that, I was grateful. In the end, I learned that trust, once broken, can never truly be repaired. Amanda's betrayal had shattered the foundation of our marriage, and no amount of apologies could mend it. I moved on, focusing on rebuilding my life without her. The pain of betrayal lingered, but it also taught me to be stronger, to be more cautious with my heart. And while the scars remained, they served as a reminder of the lessons learned and the resilience gained. Life, after all, is a series of chapters, each with its own trials and tribulations. And as I turned the page on this painful chapter, I found solace in knowing that the future held new beginnings and the possibility of trust and love once more. Months passed, and I started to find a semblance of normalcy in my life again. I threw myself into work, hobbies, and reconnecting with friends I had neglected during my tumultuous marriage. I even started therapy, which helped me process the pain and betrayal, slowly but surely rebuilding my shattered self-esteem. If you leave a comment, tell us what you think about the story you heard. It's important to us and will help us find and tell stories that you find interesting. Thank you for watching us.